In this tutorial, we're gonna demonstrate the use of multi-dimensional arrays, how they're being created, what does it mean if we say array.length, and so on. We're gonna try to explore all the ins and outs of multi-dimensional arrays. First, let's start with creating a class, and let's call it you can call it any name you want, multi-dimensional array. You can call it heritage. Of course, you can click on public, the main, but I'm not gonna click on this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just type it in myself. It's a good idea to type it yourself, then you get used to it. So it's public static void main, and of course, if you notice, this is an array. So it's here string. That's array args. There we go, and we can start in here. To create a multi-dimensional array any type, let's create an array of type integer, for instance, and you can type, it has to be like two arrays, one for the rows, this is the first one for the rows and second one for columns, then the name of the array. Let's call it matrix, as we've seen it in the lecture. So a new, and we start with something, we initialize with numbers. Let's say 3 and 4. This is done. What does that mean here? Of course, before we start, we can put this here, and we can put it after. If I remove this one, I'm sorry. You can put it like that, or you can put it like that. It's just the same as we discussed in single dimensional arrays. So either way, it works. So what does that mean? That means I've created an array, two-dimensional array. It has 3 rows and 4 columns here. Now, before we go any further, let me try to say this: system out print command, and I say matrix dot length. Remember, that give us actually the number last time when we say with a single array. We say dot length means give us the number of elements, but when it says matrix or matrix dot length, what's that going to give us? That's going to give us actually the number. If the variable name dot length, that's going to give you the number of rows. So in this case, it's going to give us 3. Let's run it and see what that's going to give us. Of course, and here you go, number of arrays 3. So that's matrix dot length is giving you the number of rows. However, if I do this, 1 dot length, that means row, second row, because so 0, 0, 1, second row. How many rows in it here? So when I say that means matrix and an index, then dot length, it means give us the number of columns. So the second one, that should give me 4 here. And here you go, S4. Keep that in mind, and as we go further progress in this demonstrations. Now I've got matrix of 3 rows and 4 columns. To deal excuse me, to deal with a multi or two-dimensional array or multi-dimensional array, for each one of them you need to use a for statement. As we said, when you deal with arrays, always remember use for statement. And because we have 2 in here, so 2 dimension means we have to use 2 for statements. So let's say for int I equals 0, and then remember I less than n arrays never use equal. If I say matrix dot length, and you can recall this, and I s plus plus. You can recall from this, it means this is the first one, the number of rows. So I've done this. To do the second one, for each row, we're going to do the columns in here. So we do 4. You can open, you can put a bracket here if you want. And you can say 4, another one, for the columns. And j, for instance, equals 0 to j less than. Remember, how do I find the columns? I have to use the index. So that will be matrix of I, which is here, I 0, 1, 2, dot length. So that's going to give me number of columns for each row. And of course, j plus plus. And then, for the brackets here, I'm going to put some data inside these matrices, or these the matrix. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just create random numbers. Let's say matrix I with j. So for I0 is going to be 0, 0, 1, 2, because the number starts from 0. And of course, I'm going to create random numbers. Remember, random numbers is math dot random. Here it is. That's, as we discussed that in the class, math dot random is going to give us values between 0 and 0.9. And I would like to generate, remember, matrix is an integer. So because it's an integer, you have to make sure that's an integer. If I leave it random like that, it's going to give me all zeros. Multiply it by any number. Multiply it by, for instance, 1,000. So that is going to give me between 1 and 1,000. I'll close that one. Here. Remember, this generate numbers. This is going to generate actually decimal or double numbers in here. So we need to cast. You need to cast it. Remember, when you do that, you have to open the bracket. All right, and cast it to end. Give me just the integer part of it. All right, and here it is. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just print for each row. So let me say system out print. I'm going to do a print here. It's on the same line, and I'm going to type matrix, the ones created, I and j, and put a space after it, and I put \t like that. And of course, this is going to be inside this. So the j, each one for the columns, and to put new lines after each row, just put here outside it and inside the second one, system out print ln is empty. Right, what I'm gonna do, that should generate a two-dimensional array, 3 rows and 4 columns, of course. Let's run this one. This should compile. Here it is. These are the random numbers being created, and this, of course, the value being printed. I just go on this one. Every time I run that, it's going to give me different numbers. So if you notice here, then print it again. It's going to give me different numbers, of course. Okay, there it is. You see that's 298 and finish 403. Run it again. It's going to give it a different one. There it is, 146. Now, looking at that, look at this definitions here: 3 columns, 3 rows, and 4 columns. Start from the index. So if I say matrix of 1 and 2, which number would that be? 1 and 2, of course, matrix, that's a 0, and this is 1. So 1 and 2, that's 1, that's 0, 1, and the 2 is 0, 1, and 2. That is the value for matrix 1 and 2. Keeping that in mind, always start with 0. Now, assume you want to put these numbers as discussed in the class. You wanted the numbers to be between, for instance, 1 and 6, between these ones. So if it's 1 and 6, all you do, just add here modulus, 6. If I say modulus 6, that means the values are from 0 to 5. So what I can do, I can add 1 to it. So that's going to give me from 1 to 6 here. Run it. You see, between 1 and 6. Never exceed the 6 and doesn't go below 1, because any value plus 1, any 0 plus 1, it's 1. This concludes the first part of a multi-dimensional array. And the second part of this video, we're going to do the other part of double or multi-dimensional array. And the second part of this demonstration, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create an array with number of rows, and each row has got a different number of columns. How would I do that? Let's take a variable. We'll take it double in this case. Let me call it double, two-dimensional. Let's call it any name. I'm going to call it array. And if you want to create a multi-dimensional array with number of rows, and each row has got a different number of columns, all you need to do is get a new double. Could be integer, could be a string, could be char, your array, or your array could be actually array of objects, something we're going to talk about in next chapters. So if you want to do it, in this case, you have to specify the number of rows. Let us say we've got 4 rows, and you leave this empty like that. This will give us an opportunity to sort out the number of columns in each row. So if you listen here, and we say, if we say system out println, and we say array, array.length, of course, that should give us, actually, as we stated before, if the variable name only dot length is going to give you the number of rows, which is the first one. Here's the first one, which is 4 in this case. If you print this one, there you go, should give us 4. Here's 4. So if we say that, however, if we say bracket in front of it and then dot length, that refers to the number of columns. However, how many columns in each row? They're not defined. Yes, is empty. So in that case, what you need to do, you take each one in here and you say, for instance, array. Remember, these are 4 rows. It means 4 elements, 4 rows, start from 0 to 3. Index start from 0. We said if this is says double or declarations of variable, this refers to the number of elements. If it's only the number of the array, then the number after it, that refers to the index. So we say the first row, which is 0, That's how we define it. Equal a new double here new int, because number of rows int, right? Say for instance you've got 5 in the first one. There you go. I'm sorry, yeah, double there. Of course, it's double. New double. Then array of 1. It'll give you a new double. The values in columns. Say for instance we got 7. Right, that is. Then array of 2 equal a new double. Say we've got 3. And array of 3 in here equal a new double. And say we've got 2. So what does that mean? That means the first row, of course, it's got 5 double values. Second one is got 7. Third one is got 3 and 4 and so on. If I say, look at this here, if I say this array of, and I say 2 dot length, what's that going to give us? That should give us array of 2, that's the index, so this is 2, so that should give us 3 in here. Let me check actually with one so it'll be very clear. 1, which refers to this one, and see that should give us 7 in this case. Yeah, it is 7. Reason for that, because as we said before, if this on its own like that, that refers to the number, refer to the first one, the number of rows, to this one, or this one here, this one, number of rows. However, if we put bracket and refer to the index, and we say for instance 3 in here, that's dot length, it means array 3, how many columns it has. So this should give me 2 in here. See that? Give me 2. Here it is. And of course, again, if I want to deal with these, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to add numbers or get the square root of them, or I just get actually square them, and so on. So I'm just going to do, as we said, for the first one, it says 4 and I equals 0 and I less than, look at that, array dot length. What does that mean? If I say this one, there you go, then I plus plus. If I say array dot length, it means I'm referring to this. So the first 4 always is, because you have 2 arrays here, double, it means 4 for this one and 4 for this one. It is, open your bracket, and you can say 4 and j equals 0, j less than, and then you take this one, array, look at that, array of the index, which is I, because I is going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3, of course, because they're 4. And that's j plus plus. And we'll see how we fill the data, because there's no data here, it's just numbers here. What I'm going to do, this array dot, of course, this array dot length. There you go. So what we're going to do, we're going to just generate random numbers. Remember, the random numbers in this case, just because this is double, so I'm not going to convert it to an integer, or just this is because this is double. So I can say array I, remember always go index I and j equal equals the random, or you can add them, or random is just use, you get the random math dot random. Here it is, and that's going to give you small, of course, small numbers between, as it says here, between 0. Can you see it? Between 0 and less than 1, which is, it means 0.00, between is 0.9999. So you can multiply it by any number you want, right? Or if you want to leave it as it is, it's going to give us numbers between 0 and 0.99. Remember, first row is going to give us 5 columns. The second is going to give us 7. Third is going to give us 3. And the fourth one is going to give us 2. Let's run that and see what they're going to give us. As of course we didn't put the system out, print ln here. So of course I'm going to put this system out print. This is only print, so I'm going to say array I and j. Let's give it space. It's T. I always like put tab between them. And remember, let's give us a new line here. System out print ln if you want. And here it is. I run it now, and I'm gonna just put this here. There it is. Don't need this. And run this one. There it is. If you notice, unfortunately, let me just make it a bit smaller here. If you look in here, of course, there's. If you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first one. The second one, which is this one, should be 7. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, and 7. These are because double. If you notice these because double here, it means is big numbers. I'm going to make them small numbers. How do I make them small numbers? You can convert them to float if you want to. You can either do this. If you want to use float, just use open custom to float. Float. There it is. In a bracket. Open bracket here. And here you go. Right. Run it. Yeah. Give you a small. Should give you small numbers actually here, but in theory. But this is random numbers. Let me multiply this by 10. 1, 2. There you go. That is. It's in here. Move this one a bit as well, so I can see the seven numbers here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7th somewhere. Yeah, there's the 7th one. And here you go. So let me move this one like that. And it's still there. Yeah. So the first one, if you look in here, first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5. This is 1, of course, this is 7. Third one is only 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then this is only 2. If I want to make them integers, move this one. If I want to make them integers, it'll be easier. Make this int. And of course, this will be int as well. If you want, here it is, int. And here. And so we can see them and of course here, because this is, you see, this gives us an error, because if I do this, that's going to give us error, because this is actually a double and this is integer as states here. You look at this here and tells you, see, cannot convert from double to integer. So the way you do it, remember to move a double to an integer. If you do this, it doesn't work. Still give you error. Can you see it? So you need to cast it. Just put this into a bracket here. Alright, multiply this by 10. 10 works fine. But make it by 100 for instance. And say you want, just put the 100 first in here. Run it. Here it is. So the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's a 3, and there's, see the number of columns in each row. Of course, if I do this, it's going to give us this one. Even if I increase this one, look at this one for instance, make it 15, and this one probably 17. This is 13, and this is 12. If this is automatic, here you go. There, I see there. This one, the first one should be 15, then 17 here, and then this one is 13 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and of course 12. However, just one thing, be careful here. If I say system out println, look at this one, println, and I say it, let me put spaces, and NTTT, right, it's going to be on its own, for, and I say it, array of, and I say it's array 2, and then say it 7. You have to think of that number. Where's 2 and 7? Remember this, because this is a value. If you put the two of them together, it should give you a value here. And that is index. So 0, 1, 2. Here it is 0, 1, 2. So that's the row we need to have a look at. And here, and of course, 7. 7 is starts from 0 as well. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the value is going to be this part. Of course, not going to be 99 because this is a random number. So remember, third one this is 0, 1, 2. So this is 0, 1, 2, and 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's run it, and it should give us that value. Here it is. Again, if you look here, 0, 1, 2, which refers to this one, 0, 1, 0, 1, and 2. So that's the row we need to have a look at. Here it is. And number 7 starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Here is 2, 2 and 7. Here it is. See that one here? It's 2 and 7. Keep that in mind when this is printed, using the index. Third part, I'm going to do the video, something else with the multi-dimensional arrays. Last thing we're going to do with the multi-dimensional array is something we talked about in the class. If I declare and initialize the multi-dimensional arrays, how do I do that? Very simple. Here it is, and for instance, it is, and say x, or just if it says like that, so say my array, or I call it array as well. Array. Here it is. You say new. You don't need to say new. How do we initialize? And of course, declare and initialize. You open the bracket. Here it is. All right. You go. So you've got two brackets here. Inside the bracket, here it is. You open a bracket. For each bracket you open refers to the rows. So let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 13. And when I close that, that is my first row, comma, Here it is. Put my second one. For instance, I put 23, 43, 56, 10, and 1. There it is. That's my second row. And then I open another one, for instance, 9, 7, 3, 5, something like that. And then I open another one, say, for instance, 1, 2, 3, and 90. Then I put something like 91, 87, 99, 1. And then probably put something like that, just 34 and 32. Here it is. And of course, you got that, got this one, and just put, here it is. What does that mean when I done this array? How many rows and how many columns? Remember this here, you have to open a bracket and you close the bracket. Here it is. Open a bracket and close the bracket with a semicolon ended. Inside it, open curly brackets. Each curly bracket you open refers to a row. So this is first row, second row, third row, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So in reality, this is exactly the same as this is 6, right? So it knows there are six elements. There it is, right? So for the first row, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 columns, 4 columns, 4 columns, 4 columns, and 2. Let me just reduce the numbers here. Remove this one. For instance, this is 3. And this one, for instance, add 1 here, 78, for instance, and put them like, remove 1 from here, and put 1 here. 90, something like that. Right, so we can see that. Right, now if I say, look at that, if I say system out print ln, and I say array as again, array dot length, what's that gonna give me? Repeating this again in all videos, it gives me the number of rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should give me 6 rows in here. If I do 6 here, 6 rows, here it is, 6 rows if you look in here. However, if I put here, and I said 3, which one that would be? Remember, this starts with the index, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to give me, should give me 3. There it is. That 3 is referred to the 3 elements here, 1, 2, 3. Because if I put, for instance, 5 in here, look at that, 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to give me 2 here. Here it is. There's 2. So we have to keep that in mind again. And as we done before, here it is. To print the results or to print these numbers, the first row is 4 for this and 4 for this. 4 int I equal 0 I less than array. The first one, array, because that's give you the rows of length, and that's I plus plus, of course. Here it is, and then for, if you want, int j equal 0, j less than array of, remember that's always array, total length, sorry there, length, and j plus plus. Here it is, and I'm going to say system out print ln, print here, and we're going to say array I and J, and look at that, T here, space in here, and of course what I'm gonna do this. That's our system out print ln. This parenthesis is going to print these numbers for me. Depends on the number of columns in each one. Here they are. So here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 in here, 5 here, 6 here, 3, 4, and of course 2. Somebody asked me before, if I put this, let's say, if I say in here, somebody else says if I put J and I, what would be the output here in that case? Look at the output here. Here you go. Give you straight away error. Why does it give you error, you think? Right? Because it starts J has looking 0, 0 and 0, that's fine. Then 1 and 0, right? That's spare problems. 1 and 0, then 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, and so on. So up to, if you look in here, looking at this, 123, look at that, 123, 9, 1, 91, 34. Here they are. Print that one. And of course, if you look in here, the number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7. So start from here to the 7. So here, there's 6. So the 7th one it can't, because there's you exceed the outside of the matrix, and that's why you have to use row and column. There it is. Of course, look at that one. That's printed exactly same as it is. You can do something else if you want. You can multiply them if you want. You can multiply I times J to print. All right. Here, what you can do, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna say array. Look at this, array. I and J equal. Look at that. I times J. What's the values here? Look at that. Because I, look at this, what value is going to give us, right? Or what I'm going to do, well, this is going to give us actually something different, different numbers, of course, because it's going to be 0, 0, 1, 1, and so on. But you can multiply these if you want, right? Look at this in here. That's going to give you just the rows. Can you see them? Rows and columns. So you don't need that at all. We're just printing these. This is just for a demo. You can play around with the rows. This concludes our multidimensional array, and I hope you enjoy this video. You understand it. Should you have any question, please just let me know which part, what a minute or a second on the video, then I can explain more in details for you. Please click on like if you like a video. If you don't like it, just put a comment as well, just to improve our future videos. Thank you very much.